Hello! How are you doing? I am super excited because I want to show y'all how to do the little French knots to add to these. So I'm hoping to release this as kind of like a little freebie pattern so that everyone can learn like a few basic stitches and kind of see what my pattern writing style is before they commit to maybe getting the full bacteria stitch sampler. But yeah, so if you've ever wanted to learn how to do a French knot, I'm actually going to do some pretty tiny ones, so it should be a lot of fun. But yeah, follow along with me. I'm going to do these French knots in this kind of same pink color that I have over here on this bacteria. So that is this DMC thread, and it is number 3328. It's a really pretty like pink red. So what I've done is I've actually taken a full 6 strand of thread, but then separated it into only 2 strands. So this is only 2 strands. I separate my thread a lot, so a lot of my videos have how I do that. But it essentially, like when you cut off embroidery thread to begin with from like the whole skein or bobbin, it's 6 strands, and then you just separate out kind of what you want. So this is 2, and I just tie a normal boring knot kind of wherever. And since this is 2 strands, I like to double knot. Using knots is a personal preference thing. So this is going to be very basic because I'm going to have, or maybe I already have, depending on when you're watching this video, a more complex tutorial on French knots. So I'm just going to do like super basic kind of step by step and then show you like a little time lapse of me doing all the French knots. So essentially I have threaded my needle like this. So it's kind of long. I never really work with more than 12 inches of thread at one time. And I'm going to come up kind of where I want to place my first knot. So kind of wherever, pull all the way through. This is much easier to do with an embroidery stand compared to holding it in your hand, but it can be done either way. So essentially you're going to hold this pretty tight and we're going to wrap around the needle. So I'll show you this many times, but wrap around the needle. I'm only going to do once. You can do it multiple times if you want. Put it through. I'm going to keep holding here. I'm still holding here the thread while I pull the needle through. So this can be hard depending on how many strands of thread you have and how thick your fabric is. But see, I'm still holding over here on this side, on my left side. And finally, like when I'm almost done, I'm going to let go. And there's my little knot. There it is, little French knot, number 1. So let's do another one. So maybe I want it like right here. So I'm going to pull the thread again all the way through, kind of hold it pretty taut right here in my left hand. And then I'm going to wrap the needle 1 time. So see, the thread's wrapped around. Then I'm going to put the needle back. You don't want to put it back in the same exact hole that you came up through. You want to move a little bit over. So I'm still holding here in my left hand. I'm going to pull the needle through with my right hand. And just pull slowly until I'm ready to let go. And there we go. Also, don't pull too tight. So yeah, you don't want to pull too tight because you'll pull the knot through the fabric on accident, especially when you're only using 2 strands of thread and wrapping 1 time. So you just want to pull kind of gently so that it's like tight and like a little knot. But say you want to wrap like more than 1 time. So this is my 1 wrap, right? So you can see how it's wrapped around. Maybe do 2 wraps, 3 wraps. I think 3 wraps is pretty standard. So your knot's going to be a lot thicker, but it's the same thing. You would just like put your needle down through here and then, you know, kind of pull the thread down towards the fabric and then pull the needle through with your right hand or left hand, depending on which one's your dominant hand, until you pull it through the fabric. But I really like the tiny knots because I think they make a nice detail, so I'm only going to do 1 wrap. But yeah, you can see I kind of like pull it down towards like the fabric, the little knot, and then I'm going to pull here and I'll let go. Let me do 1 more at this different angle. So I'm going to come up through the fabric. I'm going to wrap my needle around, put it back in. Okay. I'm kind of pulling this thread here, right in my left hand. And then There we go. All right, let's do one more actually. Okay, so I like this angle a lot. This is a good angle. Okay. Kind of hard not to knock my little stand that's holding my phone though, so I'm trying to make it not like as stable as possible. But go down and pull. Oh gosh. So this might seem like total common sense, but French knots are really hard to do when your hands are sweaty. Like, it's really hard to pull the needle through, you know, because you're trying to pull it through like literally a knot. So maybe don't try to do French knots a lot when your hands are sweaty, because then you'll embarrass yourself on video like I just did. Okay. See, so I can't like pull it through because my hands are too sweaty. Oh my gosh. Okay, come on. There we go. Sometimes it just takes a few tries, but here we are. And now I'm going to do like a little time lapse so you can see me do a bunch of them, and I'll show you how I finish off after. All right, I figured I'd also just show you maybe one knot where I'm holding the hoop in my hand instead of using the embroidery stand, just to show you that like you can in fact do them without using the embroidery stand. So I'm holding the hoop now. I'm just gonna come up somewhere, maybe like, I'm gonna come up like on the edge, like right here. Okay, so I'm coming up. So usually I hold the thread with these two fingers. I'm still holding the hoop with like these back fingers, and then I'll do my wrap. I honestly like will put the hoop on my lap sometimes when I'm doing a lot of French knots, just so that it's easier to hold. There we go. And now I'll pull, maybe, I don't know. Come on. There we go. Okay. See? It's a little bit harder to do like holding the hoop in your hand one-handed. Like a lot of the time what I do is I like set it on something. So let's finish this off now. My little hoop is pretty much done. I'll just blow dry it to get rid of some of like the stray pen marks, and then I'll put it in a wooden hoop and I will glue it and it'll be done. So I'm just literally sticking my needle like underneath some stitches, pulling. I like to do that twice. You can see the back of this one's pretty messy. I had some like extra threads hanging around that ended up knotting back here. So that's also a cautionary tale to not use more than like maybe 12 inches of thread at a time, because it will get knotted if you keep using it. Okay, so I'm putting my needle through this little loop. I did that twice and I'm pulling, and that's my little knot. So I'll go ahead and snip this off, and yeah, my hoop is done for now. There it is. Yay, little French knots. Hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys later.